The lesson: what would you do if you found out your child had turned into a bully? Lydia Wainwright's parents never thought they'd have to answer that question until they did. Lydia, the 16-year-old daughter of one of the wealthiest families in the city, had it all: a massive estate, the best clothes, and an elite education. But there was something Lydia didn't have: compassion. And the person who felt this most? Lila, the daughter of the Wainwrights' housekeeper. Lydia never understood why someone like Lila even attended Silverwood Academy, a school meant for the rich. "You don't belong here," Lydia often spat, her eyes filled with disdain. Lila was on a scholarship, thanks to her hard work and the support of Lydia's parents. But Lydia saw Lila's presence as an insult to her world of privilege. So, she made Lila's life miserable. One morning, Lydia spotted Lila's shoes plain, worn out, and miles apart from the designer brands Lydia was used to. "Those things on your feet, are you seriously wearing those heels?" Lydia asked, loud enough for everyone to hear. Lila, embarrassed, kept her head down, but Lydia didn't stop. "Maybe I'll get you a new pair if I feel like it," she laughed, knowing she'd never lift a finger. At lunch one day, Lydia decided to take things a step further. As Lila quietly opened her homemade lunch, Lydia strutted over, grabbed the container, and casually tossed it in the trash. "Oops, guess you'll have to wait until you get home for a proper meal," she said with a smirk, while her friends giggled. Lila remained silent, tears welling up, but Lydia just turned away, satisfied with the scene she'd created. Lydia's bullying continued. Each day, it grew worse. Every snide remark, every petty insult was like a game to her. She felt invincible. Until one day she crossed a line. During an important science project presentation, Lydia sabotaged Lila's display. When it was time for Lila to present, all her equipment had been tampered with, pieces missing, wires cut. Lila stood frozen, panicked in front of the class. Lydia, seated in the back, leaned over to a friend and whispered, "Watch this." The room erupted in whispers as Lila's project failed to work, and Lydia's smile grew wider. The turning point. But Lydia didn't know someone had been watching. Her teacher, Mrs. Porter, saw everything. She had heard rumors of Lydia's behavior, but had never caught her red-handed, until now. That same evening, Mrs. Porter sent a video of the incident to Lydia's parents. At home, Robert and Amelia Wainwright sat in disbelief as they watched the footage. Their daughter, their Lydia, had turned into a bully. "How could we not see this?" Amelia whispered, shocked at the cruelty Lydia had displayed. The very next day, they confronted Lydia. "We raised you to be kind, respectful, to treat people fairly," Robert said, anger mixed with disappointment in his voice. This is unacceptable." Lydia rolled her eyes. "It's not a big deal. Lila doesn't belong there anyway." That's when her parents decided it was time for her to learn a lesson she'd never forget. When her parents informed her of her punishment, doing chores around the house for a month, Lydia's initial reaction was disbelief. "You can't be serious," she exclaimed, crossing her arms defiantly. "I'm not going to clean toilets and wash dishes like some servant." Lydia reluctantly agreed to her punishment, but not without a fight. The first week was a disaster. Lydia struggled with even the simplest chores. Folding laundry seemed like a monumental task, and she nearly broke down in frustration when she accidentally shrank a favorite sweater in the wash. "This is so stupid," she shouted, tossing the laundry basket aside. The luxury of having others do these chores for her had made her oblivious to the effort it took. She was clumsy with the vacuum cleaner and dropped more dishes than she cleaned. Each day was a test of her patience. In the beginning, she often complained, "This isn't fair. I don't deserve this." But her parents were resolute. One afternoon, while she was scrubbing the kitchen floor, Maria, Lila's mother, walked in. Lydia had seen her as just the help, but now she had to face the reality of Maria's life. As they scrubbed together, Maria spoke gently, "You know, Lydia, everyone has a story. We all work hard for what we have, and kindness goes a long way." Lydia hesitated at first, feeling defensive, but something in Maria's tone softened her heart. As they worked, Maria shared stories of her own struggles, her sacrifices, and how she had worked tirelessly to give Lila the opportunities she never had. Gradually, Lydia began to see the world through a different lens. The once insufferable chores became a window into a life filled with resilience and hard work. By the end of the month, Lydia was transformed. She not only learned how to do chores, but also discovered humility. When it was finally time to return to school, Lydia approached Lila, who was sitting alone at lunch. "I'm really sorry for everything I did," she said, her voice trembling with sincerity. "I didn't realize how wrong I was." Lila looked up, surprised but hopeful. "Thank you, Lydia. That means a lot." Lydia's journey wasn't just about making amends. It was about understanding the value of kindness and respect for everyone, regardless of their background. What do you think of Lydia's journey? Have you ever experienced something similar? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more stories like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Don't miss out on the next story, because sometimes the lessons that change us the most are the ones we least expect.